The popular restaurant chain, Cracker Barrel, is now being bent over the barrel, economically speaking, because of new branding changes. They are getting rid of their classic country man sitting down at a barrel that is reminiscent of an old country store. They have made their logo very bleak and bland that they've had for nearly 50 years. And the consumer is not happy about this. I was not planning on talking about this, but it is huge news, and over 500,000 people on X alone have committed to no longer shopping at the Cracker Barrel restaurant. But if you listen to the CEO in a recent interview she did on Good Morning America with Michael Strahan, she says that these changes are coming because they are listening to their consumer base and restaurant managers. I want you to listen to this, and then I'll continue to talk about it.
All right, I got to ask this question. I think I probably know the answer. What if all the customers are coming at you hard enough about the look of the restaurant and they want to go back to the old way? Would you do it?
Honestly, the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive that people like what we're doing. I'll give you another soundbite. I actually happened to be in Orlando last week with all of our managers. We bring them together and once every other year. And the number one question that I got asked, Michael, was, how can I get a remodel? When can I get a remodel? How do I get on the list?
Oh, really?
So because the feedback and the buzz is so good, not only from our customers, but from our team members. They want to work in a wonderful restaurant. So we're doing everything for our guests and our team members.
Well, Julie Messino, it's wonderful to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you for answering those questions for all the Cracker Barrel fans out there. There's a lot of great changes.
Thank you so much.
Really? Right. You're reflecting what the customer wants? Because I'm not seeing that. And the NASDAQ certainly isn't reflecting that. Because last I checked, ladies and gentlemen, Cracker Barrel stock had dropped 13 points on the NASDAQ. This is certainly not reflecting what the customer wants. And then the CEO of the company goes on live television and gaslights the consumer because they have gotten rid of everything that the customer has come to know and love about Cracker Barrel. They've gotten rid of all the old farm equipment and the clutter of country life that reflects an old country store that has made Cracker Barrel famous for almost 50 years. And when you go look at the website, you actually find out that this change is much deeper than just a store remodel. You find that Cracker Barrel has pledged to hire more gay, black, and Latino people. They have committed to DEI. Now, I have come to believe that DEI is nothing more than a woke cult. Now, I'm not saying that every time a company decides to change and remodel itself, that it's going woke. But in Cracker Barrel's case, I believe that to be true because the current CEO, who came on board in 2023, according to the Blaze, was responsible for allowing Cracker Barrel to participate in a 2024 Nashville Gay Pride Parade in Nashville, Tennessee. They are trying to appeal to the cultural left. And I believe that this DEI woke cult has become nothing more than a new religion. And DEI serves as the blood on the door. If you remember the old story from the Bible in Exodus, where God told the Israelites to paint over the doorpost with lamb's blood so that they would be safe from the incoming diseases and plagues that were going to come on Egypt. That is what I believe DEI has become today, ladies and gentlemen. It is the proverbial lamb's blood on the door that these companies believe will shield them from this woke mob. And I think that is what Cracker Barrel is trying to do here. But the consumer, who I believe, and I have noticed, is average Americans who love this country and who tend to be very conservative, are not in line with these new changes. In fact, their market nosedive reflects the exact opposite. So Cracker Barrel, in my estimation, ladies and gentlemen, is going to get the Bud Light treatment and the Disney treatment because they're not in line with what their customers want. Their customers want something reminiscent of an old country store. They want good hot food that reminds them of the country cooking that they grew up with. But this is not what Cracker Barrel's doing. Cracker Barrel is remodeling and rebranding their entire brand that they've had for almost 50 years and doing away with what the customer loves. This is going to bite them in the ass. And I think that ultimately this serves to show the power that the consumer has. If you don't like what a company is doing, you can simply stop shopping there. And that's exactly what Cracker Barrel is going to face now. If they go woke, they're going to go broke. And I believe that this shows you and should demonstrate how powerful the consumer is and that you can make change that you want to see in the world, even if it's something as simple as changing a restaurant back to the way that it used to be. If you agree with me that this Cracker Barrel rebrand is absolutely ridiculous and you want something reminiscent of good old country cooking and southern home decor, do me a favor, share this video to show the people at Cracker Barrel that their consumer really does matter. Like it so that more people see it, and subscribe to my channel for more content.